Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life where everything feels like it's falling apart. The plans crumble, the dreams blur, the people we counted on walk away, and the person we once were begins to fade in the mirror. It is in those very moments when the ground beneath your feet feels like quicksand and your heart carries the weight of 1,000 storms that the real transformation begins. Tough times are not meant to destroy us. They are designed to rebuild us, to stretch us beyond who we were, and to awaken within us the strength we didn't know we possessed. Growth doesn't come in comfort. It comes in chaos. And if you dare to stay standing, even with trembling knees, the challenge will become your change. So today, let's talk about what it truly means to embrace the challenge and how the hardest chapters in your life can become the ones that shape the most powerful version of you. Let's walk through 5 key truths that turn adversity into empowerment. 5 soul-deep realizations that transform pain into power and struggle into growth. Your struggles are sculpting you. Sometimes life feels like it has singled you out to be broken, as if every hardship, every rejection, every unexpected storm is tailor-made just for you. And in those quiet hours when your spirit feels tired and your heart heavy, you begin to wonder, why me? But what we often fail to see is that life is not punishing us. It is polishing us. It is not trying to destroy who we are. It is trying to uncover who we were always meant to be. There is a kind of strength that cannot be developed in ease. The strength that builds character, that instills grace, that teaches endurance. It comes from surviving the very moments that felt unbearable. Each hardship is like the strike of a sculptor's chisel. At first, it feels harsh. It feels like a loss. But in truth, it is an act of creation. Something is being formed within you, something only adversity could shape. When we're in the middle of pain, all we can see is what we're losing. We don't realize that the struggle is creating space inside USA, space for wisdom, for patience, for empathy, for depth, a space we would never have carved out on our own. It is only when we look back that we realize that was the moment we grew. Pain has this strange way of stripping us of illusions. It reveals what truly matters. It reveals the people who care. It reveals the parts of us that are real. And even though the process is uncomfortable, what's left behind is something more honest, more grounded, more powerful than what existed before the struggle began. Struggles are life's invitations to evolve. When everything seems to fall apart, maybe it's not the end. Maybe it's the beginning of something greater, something that cannot be built on the foundations of comfort. Growth is disruptive. And sometimes the most painful chapters are actually your soul outgrowing its old shell. Think of a seed buried in the soil, in the darkness, alone, crushed under pressure. But it is not the end of that seed, it is the very beginning of its transformation. Without the darkness, without the weight of the soil, without the shattering of the shell, there would be no roots, no sprouting, no blooming. Your struggle is not burying you, it's planting you. The most beautiful souls you will ever meet are not the ones who have had it easy. They are the ones who've danced in the fire and emerged with their spirit still intact. Not untouched, but unbroken. They wear their scars like medals. They carry their wounds with wisdom because they understand now the breaking was the making. We live in a world that celebrates success, that praises perfection, but rarely speaks of the process. The long nights of doubt, the silent battles, the inner wars. But that is where the real strength is, built in the places no one sees. You don't have to broadcast your battle to be brave. Just keep going. Quietly, steadily, that's enough. When you're struggling, remember this: diamonds are made under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. And you, your heart, your spirit, your purpose are being refined in this very moment. Let that give you courage. Let that give you hope. The challenge is your transformation in disguise. You are not the same person you were before the storm. You may be softer now, or stronger, or more discerning. You may walk with more compassion, or speak with more truth. That is the gift your struggle gave you. Don't diminish it, don't hide it, own it. It's your masterpiece. Struggles don't define your weakness, they reveal your strength. Anyone can be happy in good times, but it takes real courage to find gratitude in grief, to find light in the darkness, to keep breathing when everything feels heavy. And if you are doing that, if you are showing up in spite of your pain, you are already transforming. Even nature teaches us this lesson. Trees don't grow in still air. They grow strong when the wind tests their roots. Mountains don't rise without tectonic shifts. Rivers don't cut through rock with ease. They do it with persistence. So what makes you think you're meant to live without resistance? Your story is being carved through every hardship. You don't have to love your struggle, but you can learn to respect it. You can learn to see it not as your enemy, but as your teacher. It's okay to cry. It's okay to fall apart. But then, when you're ready, get up. Pick up the broken pieces. Not to become who you were before, but to build someone even more powerful. You're not fragile because you've been through pain. You're forged. You're not less because you've been hurt. You're more aware, more alive, more compassionate. Don't hide from your struggles. Embrace them. They are not the reason you're broken. They are the reason you're becoming whole. And perhaps the most important thing to remember is this. The journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming you, the real you, the one that life has been gently, fiercely, relentlessly shaping all along. Growth begins where comfort ends. We all crave. Comforted is human. The warm familiarity of routine, the predictability of habits, the illusion of safety in doing what we know. But what if I told you that staying comfortable is often the silent thief of your potential? That the very place you feel most at ease might also be the same place where your dreams quietly go to sleep? Comfort may feel good, but it rarely leads to growth. Growth has a way of knocking at your door dressed as discomfort. It arrives as uncertainty, as fear, as challenge. It asks you to leave behind what is easy and step into what is unknown. And while the unknown feels risky, it's the only place where true transformation happens. You cannot expand your life while staying in the same emotional, mental, or physical space. There's a reason why caterpillars must go through the darkness of the cocoon. It is not optional, it is necessary. The wings don't appear in the comfort of the old form. They are created in isolation, in pressure, in stillness. The moment you choose to stay in your comfort zone, you choose to remain a caterpillar, never knowing what it feels like to fly. We often think that if something is difficult, it must mean we are on the wrong path. But the truth is just the opposite. If the path is too smooth, you might not be climbing high enough. The higher the summit, the steeper the road. That discomfort you're feeling, it's not failure, it's the signal that you're growing. In comfort, there is no urgency, no fire, no hunger. But the moment discomfort enters, it awakens something primal in us, the survivor, the dreamer, the fighter. And once that part of us is awake, we begin to realize that we are capable of more than we ever imagined. But you have to be willing to feel uncomfortable long enough to see who you can become. You can't build emotional muscles without lifting the weight of challenge. Just as your body strengthens when you push it beyond its limits, your spirit strengthens when you face what frightens you, when you dare to do what you've never done before. Growth demands that you get tired, that you get stretched, that you get up again, even when everything in you wants to quit. There is a sacred space between where you are and where you want to be, and that space is called discomfort. It is not a void, it is a corridor. And yes, it is narrow, and yes, it is painful. But it is also the space where you leave behind your old self and meet the person you were always meant to become. So don't resist it, walk through it, own it. You don't have to have it all figured out to begin. Growth doesn't start when you're ready. It starts when you're willing. Willing to be awkward. Willing to be a beginner. Willing to fail. And if you can stay committed through the messiness of that beginning, you will one day look back and realize just how far you've come. Comfort will always whisper sweet lies. Stay safe. Don't risk it. You might get hurt. But growth doesn't whisper, it roars. It shouts, go, leap, trust. And that leap, though terrifying, is where you find your wings. Not before, not in planning, but in motion. Every person you admire didn't get there by staying where it was easy. They stepped out, they got hurt, they stumbled, but they chose discomfort over stagnation. And because they did, they found levels of courage and creativity and strength they never knew existed within them. The same lies dormant in you, waiting for your decision. There will be moments when the unfamiliar will make you want to retreat, when fear will knock on the door and beg you to turn back. But you must remember, growth lives on the other side of fear. If you push through the fear long enough, it loses its power. And you realize it was never the obstacle. It was the invitation. Don't look for a life that feels easy. Look for a life that feels meaningful. And meaning often comes wrapped in challenge. You grow not when you succeed, but when you struggle, when you stretch, when you sacrifice, when you show up despite the discomfort. That is the growth that changes everything. Sometimes you will outgrow people, places, beliefs, and that will hurt. But that pain is not betrayal, it is evolution. You are not meant to stay where you were. You are meant to rise, to unfold, to transcend. And the moment you begin embracing that painful process is the moment you begin to truly live. If you're feeling uncomfortable right now, if everything feels uncertain and shaky and messy, take heart. That means you're in the process. You're on the edge of something new. Growth isn't pretty. It isn't polished. It's raw. It's chaotic, but it's real. And in that realness, you will meet your truest self. So step out, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because who you're becoming is worth every ounce of discomfort it takes to get there. Pain is a powerful teacher. There are lessons in life that can only be taught by pain. No textbook, no lecture, no inspirational quote can ever replace what the ache of heartbreak, the sting of betrayal, or the silence of loneliness can reveal. Pain is not gentle. It doesn't knock politely. It crashes into your life like a storm, uninvited and overwhelming. And yet, if you sit with it long enough, if you stop running from it and start listening to it, you will find it speaks the deepest truths. We are conditioned to avoid pain, to silence it, to numb it, to escape it. But what if, instead of resisting it, we welcomed it as a teacher? Because pain doesn't just arrive to punish, it arrives to awaken, to alert you to the parts of your life that are no longer aligned with your growth. It demands your attention not to torment, but to transform. Some of the most profound realizations we ever have in life come not through comfort, but through collapse. Pain strips away the noise. It silences the external voices so you can finally hear your own. It asks you questions you've avoided. What are you holding on to that's hurting you? What are you tolerating that's draining you? Who are you becoming in the process of pleasing others? Pain teaches boundaries. It teaches you to stop pouring into empty cups. It teaches you that love should not hurt, that peace should not be a privilege, and that your worth does not lie in your suffering. Through pain, we begin to unlearn the lies we've accepted as truth, and that is where healing begins. When you are in pain, it is easy to feel broken. But brokenness does not mean you are beyond repair. It means your old life no longer fits you. It means your soul is ready to stretch into something bigger. Pain is not the end, it is the beginning of awareness, and awareness is the seed of healing. Pain doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. Vulnerability, though terrifying, is the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to be. When you stop pretending you're okay, when you allow yourself to feel every bit of the hurt, that's when healing walks in. Slowly, softly, but surely. In your most painful moments, you learn who your true people are. You discover who sits with you in the dark without trying to fix you. Who doesn't minimize your pain with cliches or distract you with shallow promises. Pain reveals connection, the real kind, the rare kind. It is also in pain that you discover your own depth. You begin to realize that you are more than the circumstances trying to drown you. You are the strength it takes to keep breathing when everything feels heavy. You are the courage to face another day when all you want is to disappear. You are the grace of still choosing love after life has given you 1,000 reasons to be bitter. Pain also teaches you patience. Healing doesn't happen on demand. You can't rush your way out of grief. You can't skip over heartache like a song you don't like. You must sit in it, breathe in it, let it wash over you until it teaches you what it came to teach. And one day, without knowing when it started, you begin to feel lighter. You learn that growth and grief can coexist, that you can miss what broke you and still move forward. That closure isn't something someone gives you, it's something you decide to give yourself. Pain may have entered without your consent, but healing is your choice. Every day, in every breath, you choose to rise. Some lessons in life cost you peace, love, time, or even pieces of yourself. But when you've walked through that fire and survived, you no longer see the world the same way. You become more discerning. You love more mindfully. You speak more truthfully. Pain may take away your innocence, but it gifts you with wisdom. And when you see someone else hurting, you won't rush to fix them. You'll sit beside them and say, I've been there. You'll carry a softness in your voice, a gentleness in your eyes, because pain has taught you compassion. It taught you not just how to heal, but how to help others do the same. Pain also teaches appreciation. The way joy feels deeper when you've cried for months. The way laughter feels louder when your soul has been quiet. The way a sunrise can move you to tears because you now know what it means to survive the night. Pain rewires your vision. It teaches you to see beauty, even in brokenness. And even though pain changes you, it does not ruin you. It refines you. It teaches you to stand up straighter, not because you haven't been hit, but because you have, and you're still here, still breathing, still hoping, still healing. That in itself is a quiet kind of victory. So when pain enters your life, don't ask, why me? Ask instead, what is it here to teach me? Because pain is a messenger. And if you listen closely enough, you'll find that every ache holds a lesson your soul was ready to learn. Resilience is built. Not born resilience is often misunderstood. People assume it's something you're born with, a trait passed down like an heirloom tucked inside certain people like a secret gift. But resilience is not inherited. It is earned. It is crafted in the furnace of difficulty. It is shaped by experience, carved by loss, refined by every fall you've had to recover from. You don't just wake up resilient, you become resilient. It begins quietly. The first time life disappoints you. The first time someone you love lets go of your hand when you needed them most. The first time you realize that not everything goes according to plan. In those early stings of reality, resilience is planted like a seed. And how you respond, how you choose to rise instead of retreat, that's when it begins to grow. Resilience is built every time you choose not to give up, even if you're crawling, even if your heart is in pieces, even if the world has stopped clapping for you. The choice to continue to show up for life when life hasn't shown up for you is the boldest form of strength. And that strength, when repeated, becomes resilience. It isn't glamorous. It's not about smiles in the storm or pretending to be okay. Resilience often looks like tears on the pillow, but still waking up. It looks like broken dreams, but new prayers. It looks like sitting in pain without letting it turn into bitterness. Resilience is quiet, but it's fierce. You build it when you fail and choose to try again. You build it when your world collapses and you begin to reconstruct it brick by emotional brick. You build it when you stop asking for someone to save you and start becoming your own rescue. Every setback, every scar, every sleepless night, you've been building resilience all along, even if you didn't realize it. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about resilience is that it cannot be stolen from you. People can take your comfort, your certainty, even your safety, but they cannot take the strength you've earned through survival. It lives in your bones, in your blood, in the fire behind your eyes that says, I've seen darkness and I'm still shining. You will find that resilience grows not in ease, but in tension. Just like muscles grow stronger when stretched and challenged, your inner strength is forged in adversity. The more you are tested, the more you realize what you are capable of. Not because the pain disappears, but because your capacity to handle it increases. There's a point in every journey where everything seems to fall apart. You lose your footing, you lose your direction, you lose pieces of who you thought you were. But if you keep walking, if you keep breathing, keep believing, you'll discover a strength within that was dormant until the chaos woke it up. Resilience teaches you to hold space for both the hurt and the hope, to cry without shame, to break without quitting, to feel lost without giving up on being found. It's not the absence of emotion, it's the decision to move forward with it. It's saying, this hurts, but I'm still choosing to live. And in time, what once felt unbearable begins to feel like a chapter you conquered, not because you erased the pain, but because you grew taller than it. You developed roots that hold you steady when the storm hits again. Because it will, but so will your strength. You've been here before and you survived. Resilience isn't built in applause or approval. It's built in silence, in the long nights where no one sees your struggle, in the mornings when your face is swollen from crying but you still rise. It's built in the daily decision to try. And that decision is what will carry you when motivation fades. There will be moments when you question everything, when you wonder if you're strong enough, brave enough, worthy enough. And that's okay. Let yourself question. But don't stop, because resilience isn't built on perfection, it's built on persistence, on continuing even when you don't have all the answers. And as time goes on, you look in the mirror and see someone you respect. Someone who didn't give up when life gave them every reason to. Someone who fought for peace, for healing, for purpose. Someone who learned how to rebuild not just their life, but their heart. That is the face of resilience. So know you weren't born resilient, but you are becoming it. Every day, every battle, every rise after every fall. And if you ever forget how far you've come, just look back. Not to dwell, but to honor the journey. Because you didn't just survive, you built something beautiful within yourself along the way. You are more than what broke you. There comes a moment in your healing journey where you have to decide, am I going to be defined by what broke me or by how I chose to rise from it? Because no matter how deep the wounds, how unfair the betrayal, or how long the pain lasted, you are still more than the moment that brought you to your knees. You are not what happened to you. You are who you became, despite it. It's easy to attach your identity to the pain, to let it shape your thoughts, your habits, your choices. You begin to say things like, I'm not good enough. I always get hurt. Nothing works out for me. But those words are not truth. They are trauma speaking. You are not weak. You were wounded. And wounds can heal. But you must stop telling your story through the lens of what broke you. Yes, what happened hurt you. Yes, it changed you, but it did not destroy you. There is a difference between being broken open and being broken apart. One allows light in, the other keeps you stuck in the shadows. You must choose light even if it hurts your eyes at first. Because the longer you stare at what hurt you, the more you delay your growth. You are more than the heartbreak, more than the job you lost, more than the loved one who walked away, more than the moments you felt invisible, unheard, unloved. Those are chapters in your story, not your whole story. And you owe it to yourself to turn the page. Do not let the world tell you that your value decreased because you were broken. Sometimes, being broken is the only way to uncover the parts of yourself that were buried under expectations, labels, and perfection. The cracks let your authenticity shine through. You are not broken, you are breaking open. You don't have to carry your past like chains, you can wear it like armor. You can choose to see your scars not as signs of failure, but as proof that healing is possible. They remind you, you fought, you endured, you overcame, and most importantly, you felt. Feeling is not weakness, it is life. It means your heart still works. Often, we internalize our pain as personal flaws. We begin to ask, what's wrong with me? But healing begins when you start asking, what happened to me? Because pain does not mean you're defective, it means you've been through something real. something that deserves compassion, not criticism. You are allowed to redefine yourself. You are allowed to rise again differently, softer, wiser, stronger. You are allowed to build a new identity, one that isn't based on survival, but on intention, one that is not shaped by pain, but by purpose. You don't need to go back to who you were. You can build someone better. The past will whisper. It will try to pull you back to remind you of your failures. But you have the power to respond. I remember, but I am not returning. Healing is not erasing your past. It is reclaiming your future. It is choosing to walk forward with your head held high, even when your knees still tremble. You are not meant to live in the ruins. You are meant to rise from them. You are meant to build again, not because the pain didn't matter, but because you matter more. The strongest structures are rebuilt with deeper foundations. So let your healing run deep. Let your comeback be rooted in love, not revenge. You are more than the lies people told about you. You are more than the names they called you. More than the abandonment, the silence, the rejection. You are more than the days you didn't want to live. You are more than your mistakes, more than your past. You are possibility. You are potential. You are becoming. Let go of the belief that you have to carry your pain to prove you went through it. You don't owe anyone your suffering. You are allowed to be joyful again, to laugh fully, to trust deeply, to love wildly, not because your pain didn't happen, but because you've chosen to grow from it, not stay buried in it. Rebirth isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to yourself, the real you, the you before the world told you who to be, the you before the heartbreak, before the loss, before the fear. That version of you is still inside, waiting to be reawakened. And your pain, believe it or not, is the key to finding them again. So when you stand in the mirror, don't just see someone who survived. See someone who is rising, someone who carries stories that can heal others, someone whose voice still shakes but speaks anyway. You are not the wound, you are the warrior. Not the break, you are the rebuild. Not the victim, you are the victory. You are more. Always we. Always will be. In the end, life doesn't ask for our permission before it tests us. It doesn't send a warning before the storm arrives. One moment, everything makes sense. The next, everything is in pieces. But those pieces, those jagged, painful fragments of your experience, they are not the end of you. They are the raw material for something new, something stronger, something far more beautiful than the life you were living before the storm. Growth is not born in comfort, it is born in challenge. And every tough time you have endured was not meaningless. It was molding you into a version of yourself that is more powerful, more purposeful, and more present. We spoke about how your struggles are sculpting you, how every hardship is carving out strength, teaching you to hold on when everything tells you to let go. It's not about having a perfect journey, it's about becoming someone you can be proud of, someone who rises not because life is easy, but because quitting is no longer an option. You are being shaped into a soul that is unshakable. We walk through the discomfort that growth demands, the courage it takes to leave comfort behind and walk through the unfamiliar with trembling feet. And yet, it is there in the messy, uncertain middle that you discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. Growth whispers to the brave, "Come, there's more of you to become." We sat with the reality that pain is a teacher, not an enemy. That it teaches you how to feel, how to see, how to heal. That it forces you to ask deeper questions, to search for truths that comfort never revealed. Pain doesn't leave you empty, it leaves you aware. And awareness is the first step to wholeness. We honored the slow, quiet building of resilience. That unseen strength that grows every time you say, "Not today, fear. Not today, hopelessness." Resilience isn't loud, it's consistent. It's the whisper inside you that keeps rising even when your voice shakes and your eyes weep. It is the silent proof that your soul refuses to stay down. And finally, we remembered that we are more than what broke us. More than the betrayal, more than the loss, more than the failure. We are more because we are still becoming, and we are allowed to become again, to hope again, To live again, not as the person shaped by pain, but as the person reshaped by power. So when life challenges you, and it willn't run, don't shrink. Don't bury your light just to survive the dark. Look that pain in the eye. Stand tall in your storm and say, I may not have chosen this path, but I will choose what I become through it. Because you were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to break open, to rise, to shine, to grow. And that growth, that raw, imperfect, beautiful growth is not just your healing, it's your legacy.